Arrogant classmates invited the girl they once tormented to their reunion after 6 years just to humiliate her. Zara Williams, the quiet black girl they called the scholarship kid, walked in wearing a simple jean jacket and canvas shoes. Snickers erupted. Madison smirked. Oliver boasted about his family's connections. And Ethan even made jokes about her on the microphone. Everyone thought the punchline was obvious. But when Zara stepped forward, composed and unshaken, the room went silent. The same girl they dismissed revealed a truth that wiped every smug grin off their faces and left her former classmates drowning in their own embarrassment. Before we dive deeper into this incredible story, if you're new to our channel, we'd absolutely love for you to hit that subscribe button right now. Your support fuels these powerful stories, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Stay with us until the very end, and when you're done, drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. Toronto? Vancouver? Maybe somewhere we've never heard of? We love connecting with viewers from all corners of Canada and beyond. Now let's begin. The invitation arrived in a cream-colored envelope, slipped through the mail slot of Zara Williams' modest apartment in East Vancouver. The return address read, Westbridge Academy Class of 2017 Reunion Committee, in elegant script. She recognized the private school's crest immediately, the same one that once made her feel like an outsider looking in. Zara stared at the invitation for a long moment, her thumb tracing the embossed border. The venue was listed as the Fairmont Hotel Vancouver's Pacific Ballroom, the kind of place her classmates' parents probably booked for weekend brunches. She remembered those hallways at Westbridge, the echo of designer heels against marble floors, and herself, always quiet, always observing, clutching her second-hand textbooks like armor. The only black girl in a sea of privilege and old money. She was brilliant, yes. Teachers said so. Her marks proved it. But brilliance couldn't shield her from the whispers. Scholarship girl. Doesn't belong here. She'll disappear after graduation. The words had lost their sting over the years, but the memory remained sharp. Zara set the invitation on her kitchen counter next to a stack of business magazines. She should have thrown it away. Should have let it join the recycling without a second thought. Instead, a quiet smile played at her lips, because she knew something they didn't. 6 years. That's all it had been since she walked out of Westbridge Academy without looking back. 6 years of 18-hour days in cramped co-working spaces, of pitching to investors who barely looked up from their phones, of building something from nothing while everyone else was posting party photos on Instagram. 6 years of being underestimated, until the day the world stopped underestimating her. Now Zara Williams wasn't just the quiet scholarship girl they mocked. She was the founder and CEO of NorthStar Analytics, a company that had revolutionized data management for healthcare systems across North America. Worth more than most of her former classmates would earn in a lifetime. And yet, nobody knew. She kept her success private, away from social media, away from the noise. She glanced at her reflection in the window overlooking the city skyline. Her appearance hadn't changed much, still preferred simple clothes, still moved through the world without fanfare. Nothing about her screamed success, and she realized that was exactly her advantage. If they invited her to laugh, then let them. Let them gather with their false confidence and inherited arrogance, thinking they were about to tear down the girl who never fought back. Zara slipped the invitation into her jacket pocket, her breathing steady and measured. This wasn't just a reunion. It was a stage. And when the curtain fell, every laugh would die in their throats. The October rain had just stopped when Zara stepped into the Fairmont's Pacific Ballroom. The scent of expensive cologne mixed with the aroma of past hors d'oeuvres. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over carefully arranged round tables draped in white linens. A registration table near the entrance displayed name tags in neat rows. She found hers, Zara Williams, in flowing calligraphy, and pinned it to her denim jacket. The fabric was soft from years of wear, a stark contrast to the designer outfits surrounding her. Heads turned. Not dramatically, but like a wave rolling through the room. A moment of recognition, then the conversations resumed, but quieter now, laced with anticipation. Is that really her? A voice drifted from behind a decorative pillar. Same vibe as high school, came the reply, barely concealed amusement threading through the words. I heard she's working retail downtown. My sister saw her at a coffee shop in Commercial Drive. Still looks like she shops at thrift stores. A soft chuckle. 6 years and nothing changes. Some people just plateau. Zara kept walking, her canvas shoes silent against the polished floor. On the main stage, a slideshow cycled through old yearbook photos, lacrosse championships, prom courts, academic awards she'd won but never felt celebrated for. The MC, Ethan Blackwood, adjusted his expensive tie and tapped the microphone. Welcome back, Westbridge Warriors. Look at us now, older, wiser, and definitely richer. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Well, most of us anyway. Zara chose a table near the back, partially hidden by a large floral arrangement. She ordered sparkling water and watched the room the way she'd learned to watch data streams, quietly, looking for patterns. Madison glided by in a cocktail dress that probably cost more than most people's rent. Zara, she said, her smile sharp as winter air. You look exactly the same. How nostalgic. At the bar, a credit card reader beeped with that familiar rejection sound. Oliver Hamilton quickly snatched his card back, tried another. The bartender discreetly turned the screen away, too professional to announce the decline. 2 guys nearby filled the awkward silence. Did you hear Oliver's marketing firm is struggling? Dad's connections only go so far. He'll hear you. Ethan tapped the microphone again. All right, everyone, time for our then and now slideshow. Let's see how we've all evolved. Photos flashed across the screen. Law school graduations. Wedding announcements. Business launches with family money backing them. When Zara's slot came up, the frame showed only a gray placeholder. Photo not available. Guess some stories aren't worth sharing, Ethan quipped, earning scattered laughter. But hey, we all bloom at different times, right? Zara sipped her sparkling water, the glass leaving a small ring of condensation that she wiped away with a slow, deliberate motion. She felt her pulse steady, the chatter around her like white noise. A pair of former classmates drifted behind her chair, their voices carrying in that careless way of people who think they're invisible. Who even invited her? Ethan thought it would be fun. Full circle moment, he called it. That's harsh. It's just for laughs. She never fought back in school anyway. The awards ceremony began. Printed certificates with gold foil borders. Biggest glow-up. Most likely to rule the world. Best dressed. Each category built like a comedy routine, the jokes getting sharper, the laughter more pointed. Finally, Ethan held up one last envelope. And our special recognition award? Most likely to still be searching. Zara, you're here somewhere, right? Eyes turned. Someone coughed. A thin kind of laughter, the kind that cuts deep. Zara let the silence breathe. She felt her heartbeat, steady and strong. She pushed back her chair with a soft scrape, stood, and offered a small nod that could have meant anything. Thank you. She sat back down. The microphone moved on, jokes stumbling in its wake. Around her, the whispers resumed. Why did she even come? Maybe she's writing a book about us. Or she just likes punishment. But one voice, softer than the others, uncertain, she seems different. Calmer than before. The projector hummed. The air conditioning whispered. Crystal glasses chimed as people toasted their own stories. Zara folded her napkin into a perfect square, her movements patient and precise. She was waiting. The night deepened, and the ballroom pulsed with hollow celebration. Music from the hired DJ couldn't quite mask the undercurrents, voices pitched too high when discussing success, laughter that rang false when it hit awkward silences. Zara remained at her table, still as the center of a storm. A server offered canapés. She declined with a polite smile. Madison grabbed a mini quiche without looking and dropped the paper cup into someone else's wine glass. Oliver was mid-story about expanding into international markets when his phone buzzed. He grabbed it eagerly, then his face fell. He slipped it face down on the table, mumbling something about following up tomorrow. The screen had flashed overdue notice in red letters. The whispers continued to swirl around Zara like cigarette smoke. Look at those shoes. Are those from Payless? I bet she took the bus here. Remember how she used to eat lunch alone in the library? Each comment brushed against her like cold air, but Zara finished her sparkling water and set the glass down with deliberate care. Her jacket sleeve dried the condensation ring with the same slow, circular motion. She looked up and caught Ethan's eye across the room. He was still working the microphone, still leaning into the spotlight like it was oxygen. All right, Ethan called, his voice carrying that practiced charm of someone who'd never been told no. Before we wrap up this incredible evening, I want to give a special shout out to tonight's anonymous sponsor. Because none of this, he gestured at the ballroom, the catered spread, the hired photographer, would be possible without their generous contribution. Zara straightened her shoulders. One breath in, one breath out. Ethan shuffled through his note cards. They've asked to remain anonymous, but let's give them a round of applause anyway. Polite clapping filled the room. A few whistles. Someone shouted, "Reveal yourself." Zara stood. The scrape of her chair against marble seemed to echo through the ballroom. Conversations paused mid-sentence. Heads turned like flowers following the sun. She walked forward, unhurried, her canvas shoes silent on the polished floor. The chatter died completely, curiosity crackling in its place. Ethan's confident smile wavered as Zara climbed the steps to the stage. She didn't reach for the microphone immediately, just stood there, adjusting the sleeve of her denim jacket, letting the silence stretch until even the clink of glasses stopped. Then, in a voice that was quiet but carried to every corner of the room, she spoke. "I want to thank you all for coming tonight," Zara said, her eyes sweeping the ballroom. Not harsh, not bitter, just steady, the way a camera captures everything without judgment. "And I want to thank our hosts at Meridian Events, which is actually just me." Confusion flickered across faces. A nervous laugh started and died. Someone near the bar muttered, "Wait, what?" Zara pulled out her phone, tapped the screen once. The projector behind her went black, then blazed to life with new images. Headlines. Articles. Press photos. NorthStar Analytics secures $85 million in Series C funding. The 30 under 30 healthcare innovator changing how hospitals manage data. From Vancouver startup to North American leader, the Zara Williams story. A Forbes cover featuring Zara in a sharp business suit, 6 years older but unmistakably her. Gasps scattered through the crowd. Someone dropped their phone. Madison's wine glass tilted, deep red spilling across white linen. "Oh my God, that's actually her. No way. This has to be fake." But the articles kept rolling. Undeniable fact after fact. Partnership with the University of British Columbia. Contracts with Vancouver General Hospital. Recognition from the Canadian Innovation Foundation. Zara looked out at the sea of faces that once made her feel invisible. Her voice remained soft, like she was sharing a secret with old friends. "So when you ask what I do now, something like this." She slipped her phone back into her pocket. The screen behind her held steady on a single, devastating line. Estimated company valuation, 240 million Canadian dollars. The silence that followed was different from before. Not the pause before mockery. Not the hush of cruel anticipation. This was heavy, suffocating, the kind of silence that makes people forget how to breathe. Zara let it linger, then finally smiled. Small, knowing. The kind of smile that says the joke was always on someone else. For a heartbeat, the entire ballroom froze. It was as if time itself had paused, catching everyone mid-realization. champagne glasses suspended in midair, mouths half open in shock. The laughter that had filled the room now seemed like an echo from another lifetime. Ethan, still gripping the microphone, swallowed hard. His rehearsed confidence cracked like ice in spring. His voice broke on the words, the sound of someone drowning in their own assumptions. In the crowd, Oliver tugged at his tie like it was choking him. Madison stared at the red wine stain spreading across her dress, as if it were bleeding shame. Whispers darted between tables like sparks. Is this real? Google her. Google her right now. I always said she was different. Phones emerged across the ballroom. Blue screens painted disbelief across their faces as confirmation loaded. Every headline matched. Every accolade was real. The TechCrunch features, the Globe and Mail interviews, the investor profiles. Zara Williams wasn't just successful, she was in a league they'd never even dreamed of reaching. And then came the shame. You could watch it spread like spilled wine across white fabric. The same mouths that had whispered, "Scholarship girl," now pressed shut in horror. The same eyes that had dismissed her now couldn't meet her gaze. Zara stood center stage, unmoving. She didn't need to raise her voice or show anger. The truth was doing all the work now. At a table near the windows, two former classmates whispered, forgetting how sound carries in marble halls. Why did we think she'd fail? Because she was quiet. Because she didn't show off like we did. The second voice cracked. She became everything we pretended to be. Ethan lowered the microphone, the once commanding host now shrinking behind the podium. Zara didn't even glance his way. She let the reality settle like dust after an explosion, slow, undeniable, impossible to clean up. The girl they'd mocked wasn't the punchline anymore. She was the standard none of them could reach. Zara stepped closer to the edge of the stage, her shadow stretching across the ballroom floor. When she spoke again, her voice carried the quiet authority of someone who had never needed to prove anything to anyone. You see, what you called too quiet was listening. What you called not fitting in was seeing clearly. And what you laughed at became the foundation of something you could never understand. A few people shifted uncomfortably, designer clothes suddenly feeling like costumes. Madison set down her glass with shaking hands. Oliver stared at the table, his mouth moving without sound. Ethan fumbled with his note cards as if they could rewrite history. Zara let the silence thicken one more time, then gave a small nod. The difference between us was never intelligence or opportunity. It was what we chose to build when no one was watching. She stepped down from the stage and walked past the stunned faces toward the exit. No one moved to stop her. No one dared speak. The laughter that once targeted her now existed only in their memories, and those memories had turned to mirrors. Zara pushed through the ballroom doors into the cool Vancouver night. The city lights twinkled below like stars, and for the first time in 6 years, the weight of their judgment was completely gone. She hadn't just won. She had owned the very stage they built to tear her down. Zara walked out of that ballroom with quiet dignity, proving that success speaks louder than any insult ever could. She let her achievements do the talking, and in the end, that was the most powerful response of all. So tell me, if you were Zara, would you have revealed your success the way she did, or would you have chosen a different path? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to let us know where you're watching from. Are you in Calgary, Montreal, or maybe somewhere we haven't featured yet? Hit that subscribe button if this story moved you. We've got plenty more tales of underdogs who turn the tables on their doubters. Until next time, remember, sometimes the quietest person in the room has the most powerful story to tell.